Welcome to Real Estate Real World, where we talk to the movers, shakers, and leaders that are getting it done right now in the real estate industry and beyond. I'm your host, Marguerite Crespillo, and I started this podcast simply dedicated to calling people about what's really happening in this crazy roller coaster ride of real estate. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and stay up to date on the newest stuff by adding yourself to the list at www.realestaterealworld.com. Now, let's dive into the world of real estate. Hello, everybody. It's Marguerite Crespillo, and welcome back to another amazing edition of Real Estate Real World, where we get to talk to all the cool people. We're coming up on 200 episodes, which is kind of crazy to me. It's super exciting. And I've been doing this for quite a while, so it's a lot of fun. And we've got some big, exciting announcements that are going to be coming out soon. So be sure to follow me. Make sure you subscribe and head on over to margueritecrespillo.com and add your name to my email list so you get the first notices. All right. So today we have a very special guy. I've watched this guy over the last couple of years do some pretty amazing stuff. And I'm really excited to have him on the show. I ran into him at an event a couple weeks ago. I'm like, dude, I've got to get you on my show. And he was like, absolutely. So I'm excited to have him here. So let me tell you a little bit about Aaron Ralls. He is a dedicated family man, happily married to his high school sweetheart. Like, how cool is that? For 26 years now, and a proud father of 3 amazing kids. With a career journey that spans serving as a sergeant with the Department of Corrections to owning Lucky's Barbershop in Folsom, California for over a decade, Aaron brings a unique blend of discipline, leadership, and entrepreneurial spirit to his work. Now a highly accomplished real estate professional, Aaron has earned recognition as a Tri-County Top 100 agent, multiple icon agent with eXp Realty, averaging 1 closing a week and working toward the monthly goal of $100K in GCI. Aaron is passionate about helping others grow and succeed, and whether it's guiding clients through their real estate journey or supporting others in achieving their goals. Aaron's commitment to excellence and building meaningful relationships sets him apart in the industry. Welcome, my friend Aaron.
Hello. Dang, that sounded good.
That sounded fancy, huh?
Sounded so good. Jeez, I feel like I'm just barely getting started. Sounds like I made it.
You are just getting started. Holy cow. It's fun because I have to tell you this story. So one of the first times I saw you, so first of all, I raised 5 boys. And when I was growing up, I'm a little bit older to you, tattoos were not welcomed, or so people were not so open about it. So when my kids were growing up, I was like, don't get any tattoos until you're at least 18. Don't get any tattoos. And you want it, if you're going to get them, put them somewhere where you can cover them up and hold it. So, of course, they didn't listen to one single solitary thing I said. My son, John, I think was 16 when he went and got his first tattoo. And same with my son, Jake. And now John's covered in tattoos. And he's now getting his real estate license. And he didn't want to get it for a long time. He goes, oh, I'm not going to be able to be a realtor with tattoos. And then finally I met you and I saw you. I go, John, that's BS, because I just met an amazing guy. He's a top producing agent and he's covered in tattoos. So don't even worry about that. Like, you go do you. And the world is so much more accepting and open to it now than, it was 20 years ago. So yeah, he's got tattoos all over, and he's taken his real estate exam, I think this week or next week. So
good. Well,
there you go. Me too. He hasn't passed a couple times, but I'm like, well, the most successful people usually fail it a few times. At least I did. So that's the story I give out.
I think the average is 3 times it takes to pass it now.
It took me. Well, see, the good news is back when I took it 31 years ago, they didn't have the online, so you couldn't really see how many times you took it. Oh. And you had to wait a month for them to send your results. It was kind of crazy, but anyway. So I would love to hear a bit about your story. You start by saying you married your high school sweetheart. So how old were you guys when you first met?
16 and 15. Yeah, we met at a high school typing class.
In typing class? Because that's the guys went there because that's where all the girls were.
Yeah, typewriters, not computers. And that was one of the classes in school that I thought, okay, well, it probably makes sense to learn typing. So I did pretty good at it. And then further on in my career in law enforcement, knowing how to type really good was definitely a game changer because you have to do so many reports. I would always help people type up their reports because I was so fast at it at that point.
Well, even now, where everybody's on computers, like nobody types, I mean, nobody writes anything anymore, right? Hardly ever. So it's
Right.
interesting to see, the importance that typing played a role that we didn't think about back in the day.
Yeah, it's worth taking. It was a good class. So my wife and I met back then. We've been married 26 years, and she worked for the state for 20 years. And as I was getting busier, once I got involved in real estate, I got her to quit her job and come work with me. When you're working for the state and you've already got 20 years in, nobody just quits. 5, 6 years ago, I got her to quit, so she's able to help me now do real estate. So now while a lot of the accolades are mine because I'm kind of, in front of everybody, she's doing just as much behind the scenes and helping me with everything. So it's really both of us.
That's awesome. Well, so tell me a little bit about before you got into real estate, because you mentioned that you were a sergeant for Department of Corrections, right? And how did you get
Yeah.
into that line of work and how long were you there?
So the Department of Corrections was something I'd always wanted to do. It's funny because I still have my badge in my desk drawer here. It was something that I always wanted to do from when I was a kid. That's what I had pictured doing.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
right when I was old enough, I was 21, I went started applying and was in the academy for corrections when I was 22. Started working at Soledad Prison and worked at 3 different prisons. Promoted to sergeant, and in 2008, I got put under investigation and fired for 6 different counts of excessive force against inmates.
Oh,
And it was something that I did have a lot of use of force incidents because I worked in a very violent environment. But what I was charged with was complete nonsense. During that time, I had to kind of reinvent myself and figure out something to do. My house was in foreclosure. I had 3 little kids, wife, car payments, the whole nine, mortgage. And I was working a few different jobs. I was sleeping about 4 or 5 hours a night. And then I got into barbering because I know a lot of people where I live. So I thought, well, I could probably make decent money as a barber. So I became a barber. And then once I learned how to do that, I opened up Lucky's Barbershop. That became the busiest barbershop in Sacramento County. I mean, we had
wow.
8 barbers. We'd have 2 3 hour waits every day. So it was a real busy barbershop, really cool, really fun times. But during that during that time is when I'm still fighting my case. So I'm fighting the Department of Corrections for 4 years. And after 4 years, I won. So I got 4 years of back pay with 7% interest and service credit towards retirement. And then with my back pay, because I wanted to offset taxes, I bought another 5 years of service credit. So as a result of, and then they paid me an extra year's salary to not sue them and to no longer go to the media because I was very vocal with the media,
Wow.
exposing what was happening to me and the waste of taxpayer dollars. So after 4 years, I won my case and it worked out great. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. Started me down a whole journey of self education, mental mindset, the whole nine. And yeah, and then in the barbershop, I'd spend all my days connecting other people with ways to make money and started thinking about what I could do to capitalize on the network I built from the barbershop. And it was kind of at that time, my wife and I's house, we were able to get it out of foreclosure, which was good, but it needed a new roof, needed some money. I think the roof at the time was 26,000 or $28,000. And, we didn't have the money to pay for a new roof. So I got my real estate license with the intent of closing a couple deals in order to pay for a roof. And the first year I did, I sold 15 homes and it just kind of kept going. And I never buy leads. I don't do anything with Zillow. It's all word of mouth referrals. And yeah, the rest is history. I sold the barbershop about 3 years ago because it was just taking up too much bandwidth. I couldn't stay on top of everything the way I needed to. So I sold it to my buddy Greg. He's since expanded it more and opened a second location in Cameron Park. So that's been going great. Still pop in the barbershop every week to say hi to all the guys, clients, and barbers. And yeah, now real estate full time.
That's amazing. And, we were talking a little bit before we went went on the camera today, and we're talking about how, like, one of my favorite songs is Unanswered Prayers, right? Like, when you're in the middle of that, what was going through your head? I mean, that had to have been a very difficult time. Here you had planned to be kind of a lifer, so to speak, in that
Yeah.
industry, and then to
Yeah.
have your kind of the rug pulled out from under you.
Yeah, when I was going through all that, I was in the middle of, well, prior to getting under investigation, I was doing ride-alongs with what's called OCS. It's a gang unit on the streets, and I was interviewed to promote to lieutenant. So literally had the rug pulled out from underneath me. I mean, it was so ridiculous. And what was going through my head, honestly, I was in a real dark place. I was planning on killing the people that did it. I was
Mhm.
I was in the middle of losing everything, and I didn't do anything wrong. It'd be similar to someone walking in your office right now and hauling you away for something you didn't do, and it takes
Right.
you 4 years to prove it. Meanwhile, you're losing everything. So it was just a dark time. But I mean, looking back now, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. And who knows? I might be dead if I was still there. It's a violent environment, and certainly have a lot more fun now. I wake up excited every day to start my
Yeah, I
day.
can't imagine. I mean, I've only, like, ever walked into a jail, like, one time in my life to, like, visit somebody, and I was pretty traumatized just going to visit. I was like, "Ah, I need to make sure I don't ever come here."
Yeah, it's a whole different world. There's so much stuff that happens. There's so many murders that happen, things that happen in a prison you just don't even hear about on the streets outside. It's a real violent place. And
Yeah,
I worked at a level 4 prison, which is the prisons go from level 1, 2, 3, and 4. I was at a level 4. The guys you see cleaning the sides of the roads are level 1s.
right.
So
So
a lot of
you were with the rough ones.
yeah, yeah, the worst of the worst, the real gangsters.
Yeah, no, thank you. So, well, and now you kinda get to deal with the real estate gangsters, right?
Well, that's why when everybody stresses over stuff, or people on my team or my wife, it's like, golly, I don't stress over much of that. And I think it's because I had such a uh, different, like I was in a life and death environment, a real high stress environment with people
Right.
dying, and the chance of dying, to where anything involving real estate, I just kind of take it with a grain of salt, and I stay pretty level headed.
It's funny you say that because for years, so I've been 31 years in real estate, and I've always made the comment that, like, there's no emergencies in real estate, right? When these agents or clients, they freak out and they're calling you, 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, whatever is happening can wait until tomorrow. Like, it's not it's not
Yeah.
the end of the world, right? But the way that it can get handled many times, I always say the number one reason deals don't come together are really because of the egos of the agents, who they get in, they create a lot of drama. They're trying to, deal with all this stuff that's unnecessary many times.
Well, I think in real estate, a lot of agents always want to try to really one up each other, and a lot of, like you said, a lot of ego involved. And I look at all the other real estate agents as my coworkers, not my competitors, because we all need each other. So when
100%.
when people are like that about things, to me, it's just really weird. It's really short sighted. And then we have the ability to look up production. So whenever I'm in those situation with an agent, I look up what they've done. I'm like, oh, they've only done one deal in the last 12 months. So for whatever reason, they're really trying to hang on to this one or being aggressive. I don't know. I don't get it. It's so much easier just to be nice and friendly and talk through things. There's so
It's funny that you say that, because that's one of the first things I learned early on, was how to look up people's production, because I was a newer agent when I first started, right? And you'd get that agent says, I've been doing this for 30 years, right? And you're like, okay, which I can actually say now, but I I say it in a way that I've been around a long time, right? And so my job is to really help people, not hinder them. And what's so funny is I would look up the production of these agents who've been around forever. And I'm like, you've sold like one house in 4 years, right? Like, you're not,
right, right.
you're getting all wound up about something that's completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I also feel like a lot of times agents feel like they have to justify their job or their position to their clients, so they're always trying to like big time and fight for these different things. And I don't get it. I try to
Yeah.
kill everybody with kindness. There's so many deals that I've been able to do just because of relationships I have with people. And I think a lot of agents overlook that. I make sure I go to meetings, go to the MLS things, go to the different mixers, because this industry is very big on, the better connections you have, the better for your business, for your clients, everything. I've got a new property coming up in Briggs Ranch. I just left there to come here. And I showed Dawn Baltar, one of the top agents in the area. She's got, super cool, always real professional, sweet. And she's got clients that might be interested. And we're not even supposed to go on the market for 3 weeks. Got her in today. We'll probably be in escrow today.
That's fantastic.
It's very important who you know.
I agree 100%. And I don't think I'll never forget this agent years ago. And she was a pretty big agent at the time. And she was working at her company. And she would never talk to any of the other agents. And I'm like, why do you do that? And she goes, well, I don't need other agents. I can sell these things on my own. I go, oh, that's like wrong attitude to have, because like you, Aaron, I can tell you there are countless deals that I have done because of who I knew, right? And who I had a relationship with, and who I had the potential to potentially have a deal. Like, I know you're in the Folsom area, and I have some clients, coming up this weekend. I'm like, okay, who can I call that's got stuff in Folsom, maybe under 650, and see what they have? Because our inventory right now, Leo Pereja said it a couple of weeks ago. He's like, we have a recession of transactions right now. We have the lowest amount of deals that we've had in over 30 years. And inventory is low. So the best thing you can do is be connected to people and have conversations with people that might have what you need, right?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. I may have what you need.
Oh, yeah. And we've got, last time I looked, might have one or two more since the last couple of days, but we have 98 off-market properties that are coming up. I got 3 in Folsom this last week alone, and no one knows about it. And my wife looked the other day. I think there was only 51 homes for sale in all of Folsom. So,
and that list, we talked about that a month or so ago when we had our meeting, and that list is priceless. I mean, and it's not a matter of we're trying to hide anything or exclude anybody from anything, but it might be, you might have a listing and they need to get, some landscaping done in the back, so they're not quite ready to have it on the market, or, something like that. That's, a delay. They got a family issue, or who knows. But if we can make it simple for them and we have opportunities, why would you not do something like that? Right.
Right. It's like the one I showed Dawn today. My clients, their new home won't be built till May. So I have it on our off-market list. I have a listing agreement secured with the MLS waiver. So people within our group, I always say it like this. Like, I'll help agents from outside brokerages. If they call me, or if you got a girlfriend at Remax and they call me, hey, she needs help, do you have anything off market? 100% I'm going to help. But my goal prior to it hitting the MLS or everything else is my job is to feed my tribe. My people are going to eat. And if they don't want to eat, then it goes to the market. If we don't have anybody, then it goes out there. Other than that, we're real diligent on trying to make sure that we look out for each other and help. And that's the benefit of, with what EXP has to offer, in my opinion, is the collaboration. I think a lot of other, I know this isn't an EXP thing. Can I talk about it at all?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Like, if there's agents out there listening that aren't sure where to go or hear all this negative stuff about EXP. I've been with EXP now, I think 6-7 years, and been to the different events, seen behind the scenes. Marguerite and I are both at a lot of different things, and EXP is about as legit as it could get. One of these other top brokerages, no joke, and you probably feel the same way because you've seen it. If I got recruited today and offered a check for $1 million, I'd politely turn it down. Because I think what EXP has to offer and where we're going is through the roof. I mean, I've already cashed out $488,000 just in stocks. I'm sure you've cashed out a bunch of stocks too. The revenue share, like everything,
my life.
It's changed my entire life. So when you guys hear people talk about EXP, you better do some digging for yourself, because I always give this analogy. If we sold Chevy trucks, our boss is going to be telling us how lame the Ford trucks are, until you go sit in a Ford truck, and then you're like, whoa, this isn't bad at all. So I think real estate's a lot like that too. There's just a lot of false.
It's interesting to me because, I can say the same thing, that EXP has 100% changed my life. I mean, in a million ways. But it's interesting because when I start talking to people at other companies, I have not heard of another company where somebody can say that same thing, that this company has changed my life. This
No.
company has changed my life in so many ways, not just with stock and revenue share, but the collaboration and the amount of people that I could call anytime and say, hey, I need some help with this. And I know for a fact you, especially Aaron, wouldn't even blink. You're like, on my way. What do you need? Right? Like
Yeah. Yep.
and
With,
I
with
don't
with
see that
nothing in
everywhere.
it for me, by the way. No
Right.
showing fee, no percent, like nothing. I go with my agents that, when I say on my team, they're within my downline. I don't run a production team, but I've driven an hour to help them secure a listing before. Nothing in it for me other than helping them grow and succeed.
Yeah,
So good luck finding that anywhere else.
exactly. Exactly. Well, so you've been in real estate now how long?
I think 9.
9 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, what's funny is when you get to 9 years, you're pretty much dialed in for most agents. I mean, those first couple of years can be a little bumpy while you're trying to figure things out and, figure out who you are and what you're going to do and how you're going to sell. And then usually you'll kind of move into your stride a little bit and, understand that. But you're also part of a generation of agents and consumers that honestly have not seen a down market, right? So because the market was hit the bottom in 2010 and then it's done nothing but increase in value with low interest rates until the rates kind of dipped last year and went up and caused some issues. And so when that happened over the last couple of years, do you feel like you had to do anything different or you had to shift or you had to focus in a different way when interest rates went up?
I just started hitting open houses more. I still do open houses regular. And my entire book of business is generated through open houses and word of mouth referrals, mainly referrals. Referrals are probably 80-90% of my business. And I think anybody that's been in the game for a decent amount of time, that's how your business should be at that point. Or what'd you do? Piss off all these other people for the last 9 years? I should have referrals. I do a good job. I'm friendly. Um, and I ask for them. I think a lot of agents don't ask for them, but no, I'll just hit whenever I feel like there's a lull or anything kind of dies out. I'll just start hitting open houses. Not too long ago, I got all these people in the office that want to do business, and I try to always set them up first to do open houses because I figure I'm already eating, I'm already generating income. Let me help these people bring in income. But if there's ever times where they don't want to do it or they start getting complacent, I go, okay, I'll do it. So one time I did 7 open houses in 14 days, double ended the
Wow.
deal, made an extra $23,000. So then I come back and I go, hey, I'm giving you guys these opportunities. I don't need that. It's great that I did it and I'll keep doing it, but I'm trying to make sure you guys get to eat. So I
So
don't know.
tell me a little bit about the open houses you do. What do you think is the most important thing to do when it comes to open houses to make them the most successful?
For sure, I never do an open house without having music. I think music is number one. You got to have a good upbeat energy to it. I dress pretty casually. Like I tell my wife all the time, I don't really know how to dress. I don't know how to dress nice. I've worn jeans and Converse and black t-shirts since I was a kid, and that's all I wear still. So I'll show up to open houses just kind of dressed the way I dress. And I think open house, the big keys, number one, I never ask anybody if they have an agent because once you find out they have an agent, you cannot continue to try to market them. I'm just assuming they don't, and I'm leading with as much value as I can. And what my team has to offer, what our off market lists look like, and how we're selling them every week off market. So I just create so much value that they're leaving there going, well, shoot, why are we working with so and so? This guy seems to be the one with all the connections. So I do it like that. And then another thing I always do at an open house, unless it's just a really busy open house where I can't get in to see everybody before they leave, I'm always asking for the business before they leave. You're going to get a card, and I'm going to say, Marguerite, it was great meeting you. Hey, just so you know, my wife and I are both full-time agents. We would love the opportunity to earn your business. Please call or text me if you need anything. I don't ask anybody to sign in. I don't do none of that stuff because I don't like it when I get asked to do it. I just want it to be real organic, real cool. I always think I want the husband getting in the car thinking, I could see myself having a beer with that dude. Like he was cool. He wasn't, you
Right.
know. And now I've built the book of business up where now I've got the production behind it. Plus the way I approach it, I think is just real easy.
So I think that it's great that after all this time, you're still doing so many open houses because a lot of agents, like, I mean, I did one a couple months ago, but I haven't done it in a while. But I am getting back in that. And I feel like that also helps you stay a bit more connected to what's going on. Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah, totally. And well, like the house I just met Dawn and her clients, the couple came in and he goes, "Wait, we met you before." And I'm like, "Yeah, you guys look familiar too." He's like, "Oh, we met you at an open house a few months ago." So, it's like, okay. Um, I think it's important to be out there. Plus, every time I do an open house, now I get my signs out everywhere. It's that branding. And I typically only try to do them on the areas that I really want to focus in. Folsom, El Dorado Hills.
So what do you think are the biggest mistakes a lot of agents are making right now that are keeping them from being more successful?
I think most agents don't take the time to study and actually learn business or mental mindset or sales. I spend an hour to 3 hours every single day studying and learning and trying to get better. And I think most agents are pretty complacent. They'd rather spend 6 hours in front of Netflix or 7 hours in front of football on a Sunday. I don't do that. I study, I work, but my goal is to make 100 grand a month. Their goal might be to make 100 grand that year. So different goals. Whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. So I focus on things that I can do to make me sharper, smarter, a better leader, and help people at a higher level.
So what are you reading right now?
Um, well, it's in my other room actually. I'm reading The Greatest Salesman right
Oh,
now.
Ogmundino.
Yeah, it's such a good one. I mean, last night it was giving me the chills reading. I'm going to post about it on my social media. Like for people not reading that, I mean, I got so many books. I got some sitting in front of me here. This is because I got some trips coming up, so I already have my books set up.
Oh yeah, that's a
Strengths-based
great one too.
leadership,
Tips and strengths.
likability factor. And then I've heard this one. Joe Rogan's talked about this. This was given me as a gift. The Book of Ho'oponopo or something like that.
Oh,
The
I don't think
Hawaiian
I've read that
practice
one.
of forgiveness and healing, the magic, the secret. I
Oh,
don't
of
know.
course.
We got all kinds of stuff.
So it's funny that you said The Greatest Salesman because literally right here on my desk, I got this years ago from Rick Jiha. God bless him, rest his
Yeah.
soul, my favorite human being on the planet.
Legend.
And it has the 10 rules in The Greatest Salesman, and I'll read them real quick. Today I begin a new life. 2, I will greet this day with love in my heart. 3, I will persist until I succeed. 4, I am nature's greatest miracle. 5, I will live this day as if it is my last. 6, today I will be the master of my emotions. That's a good one for me. 7, I will laugh at the world. 8, today I will multiply my value 100-fold. 9, I will act now. 10, I will pray for God guidance. Augmendino.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sits
See,
right here next to my desk. I look at this literally every single day.
and if anybody wants to be successful in any aspect of life, that's it right there. That's the 10 principles that'll get you there. But people don't take the time to learn. I don't know. Nobody wants to plug in. So
Well, I believe that life happens by choice or by force, right? One of the two. And if you choose to do nothing, then it will be forced upon you, right?
yeah,
And so a lot of people will wait until they're forced to make a decision. And as I've gained some wisdom in my 61 years here on this planet, I like to make decisions by choice anymore instead of by force, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's good. So I think studying at a high level, becoming an expert in the field is very important, especially for me. I felt like that because, I mean, when I say I'm tattooed, it's literally like knuckles, hands, fingers, like I'm tattooed, my whole body. I've got more tattoos than like most of the guys you
I'm
see at a
surprised you
tattoo
don't have
shop.
any on your head.
No, I had one on my neck. I had it taken off though. But I felt like almost because of that, I needed to become an expert. So I needed to get people to overlook that to where after talking to me for a few minutes, they don't even notice the tattoos. They're just thinking, wow, this guy knows his stuff. And a couple of years ago, I went on a listing appointment with one of the gals on my team in Rancho Cordova, and it was her first one. She had no idea. And I remember because she got in the car afterwards, oh my gosh, you're so smart. She said, you knew everything. You knew all those answers. I'm like, well, yeah, I've made a conscious effort to learn. That's all. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know everything. I listen to the same YouTube channels and podcasts everybody else can plug into. So I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people don't take the time to do it. And if they did, they'd change the direction of their life. I'm a father, a husband. My job is to provide at the highest level for my family, period. So I think a lot of other people don't take those roles seriously.
Well, I love that, and I just adore you. I'm honored to be your friend. And are you going to be in Cabo?
Yep.
I'll be there. I'll be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I finally,
Uh,
my wife, she's always big on like not vacationing with and work. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, this is because we come back for a week, then we're going to Hawaii on another trip. So she was almost acting like it's too much travel. I like, oh, babe, people are dying all around us. It's not too much travel. Let's go. Shit. We can go 2 awesome trips in 1 month. I'm in. So we're going.
That's awesome. And for those of you who might be wondering what we're talking about, reach out to either one of us and we'll be happy to tell you about the Cabo trip coming up in March, because it's one of the best trips I've taken every year. I only missed 1 year, the year I broke my foot, but other than that, I've attended every single one, and it's amazing. So I'm so grateful that you got to spend some time with me here today, Aaron. I think that you're doing amazing stuff over there, and I can't wait to see you in Cabo. I'm sure I'll see you before then.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And if anybody needs help with anything, they can reach out to me anytime. It doesn't matter what brokerage you're at. Even if you're already EXP, we do meetings every 2 weeks, open invite to whoever wants to come. I don't care whose downline you're in. I don't care any of that. So open invite to
And
whoever wants to come.
that's what makes it so amazing and makes you amazing. So thank you, my friend, for joining us today on Real Estate Real World. And thank you,
Thank you.
everybody else, for joining us, where we get to talk to all the cool people, especially people like Aaron. And if you have any questions or any comments or thoughts or ideas on future shows or topics that we can talk about, please feel free to DM me. And by the way, I do have a free report out right now that you can go check out on my website at margueritecrespillo.com. And it is the 10 fatal mistakes real estate agents make and what's holding them back from success. So go grab a free copy of that. And I have some big, exciting new announcements that are going to be coming out in coming weeks. So be sure to listen in. Be sure to follow us on social media, share with all your friends, and write us a great review if you are so inclined. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Go out and make it an amazing day and shine bright. Thank you for joining us today on Real Estate Real World, where we talk with masters and leaders in the real estate industry and beyond on how we can raise the bar in our industry. Please subscribe over on iTunes, and while you're there, be sure to give us a review. Your reviews encourage us and help others to find our podcast for show notes and hot topics on what's going on right now in our real estate industry. Also, hop on over to www.realestaterealworld.com and add your name to our email to get early advance notice of upcoming podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and go out there and be a part of the elite masterclass and raising the bar on the real estate industry.